Okay guys, in this one, it's all about talking about how I felt about the ending for Astro Bot, and other spoiler-related things I didn't want to talk about during my review of the game. Hey guys, welcome back. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Argonaut, and on this channel, we mainly just talk about games and movies and how great or stupid they are. Now, if you didn't already get it from the beginning of this video, there are going to be spoilers as we talk about Astro Bot and its ending. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, then click away from this video right now. You've been warned. Alright, now, throughout Astro Bot, as you already know, you go through all the worlds collecting all your lost friends, while at the same time trying to rebuild the ship. Along the way, you end up fighting a few bosses. Personally, the Chameleon was my favorite one. But, after collecting all of them, you come up to the game's ending. After assembling most of your mothership, Nebulax appears and taunts you with the CPU, and with that, it's on! Yeah, I really just wrote that line into the script. Sorry. But afterwards, Astro and the other bots hop into the mothership and chase after him. While chasing him, they release other ships to help them in this fight, and then you get taken on this epic shooter battle with the bots riding on top of the older consoles. Now, I've gotta say, at this part, I was losing my shit. The amount of nostalgia that hit during this part was unbelievable. Seeing all the old consoles with the old PlayStation characters riding them just reminded me of when I was a kid, and times were just simpler. I basically felt like that one scene from Ratatouille when the guy eats the soup and remembers his childhood again. My inner child was going crazy here. I mean, this just brought tears to my eyes. I've been a huge PlayStation fanboy since the PS1 days, with my brother's hand-me-down Crash Bandicoot 2, and I used to play PSP religiously during my high school days. I mean, I even met my future fiancé while playing my PSP back during the high school days. Not to mention all the hours I spent on the PlayStation 2, 3, 4, and Vita throughout the years, and we're not even done with the boss fight yet. After you do the shooting section, you finally get up to Nebulax himself. And now, I don't know just how powerful this guy is, but he manages to somehow smack away all the other bots and their consoles with only a flag. I mean, if this guy is able to do all of that, Astro was kinda lucky this guy wasn't actively trying to kill him. The PS5, the mothership, then comes in to save you, and an epic fight ensues, where you get to pick from a roulette wheel and whatever power-up comes from it. I'm actually cool with this. It basically means no two fights against him are ever going to be the same. It's overall a pretty fun fight where you use everything you learned in the game against him. After you beat him and get the CPU back, it turns out that Nebulax is a really sore loser, and he comes back one more time. But now, this time, your controller turns into a cannon, and you get to really let him have it, as he throws past enemies and obstacles from the game at you. After hitting the core of his little spaceship at the end of the sequence, it kinda becomes a black hole, leaving all the bots and Nebulax himself clinging onto the mothership for safety. And now, I don't know if Nebulax knew he was going to be taken, or if he just hates Astro that much, but he lets go with one hand just to grab Astro. The other bots seeing this form a human, well, not human, but you know what I mean, pyramid and grab onto Astro. At this point, Nebulax is still fully holding onto Astro, who's holding onto the other bots, to stop from getting taken by the wormhole. Astro takes a long look at the bots putting themselves on the line to hold on to him, and then, with a smile, he lets go and sacrifices himself as him and Nebulax go into the wormhole together, followed with a big explosion. As the explosion happens, all the other bots stand together looking at it, mourning the loss of Astro, and the credits begin to roll. Now, this part of the game would definitely make anyone have feels, and I personally thought that this was the end of the game. But I honestly prefer sad or bittersweet endings to games and movies. It just leaves more of an impact to me. Take Infinity War, for example. It had a sad ending, and is probably more memorable for people than the ending for Endgame. I also kind of figured if this was how Astro Bot ended, this would be a great way to set up a sequel. And by sequel, here's what I mean. Hear me out. Say Astro and Nebulax get taken to another galaxy, and then separated. And now Astro ends up on another planet, where he meets other bots from other PlayStation games that he's never met before, and then has to go around rescuing them, or gathering them together, because they want to come with him. Or, something like that. I'm not a professional game writer. That's just my idea. But, anyways, the credits stop rolling and rewind themselves, and Astro gets spit out of the portal. But the guy is falling apart and basically breaks down on the spot. But I mean, between having Nebulax and his fellow bots using his body like a rope in a big tug-of-war game, and then face-tanking that explosion, it's no wonder the guy's falling apart. Even his arm pops off. So then you repair him limb by limb, and give him a new heart, which fully fixes him up, and then you get to run through the credits using all the power-ups you got throughout the game. And a Gatling gun, which I want to assume was planned to be in the game at some point, but maybe they just didn't have the time or had to cut the level that would have used it. But again, that's only my assumption. And at the end of the credit run, it even thanks the player for playing. I don't know what it is about that, but don't you just miss that? Like, I don't think every game should do it, but I would appreciate it more if more games did that. Overall, this was one of the better endings to a game that I've seen in a while. It hit me with the nostalgia of the past 30 years of games, and even threatened to kill off its cutesy mascot character. Like, that moment when you see Astro let go of the other bots with a smile on his face, you cannot say that part just doesn't hit you in your feels. It almost feels bittersweet saying goodbye to this game. I'm happy that I beat it, but on the other hand, I'm sad that it's over. But I'm also sure that somewhere out there, Team SOB is definitely going to make a sequel, and I look forward to playing it. What were your thoughts on the game's ending? Did you agree with mine? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Let's have a discussion. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing, but it would mean a lot to me and would help keep this channel alive. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.